Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Welcome to M2 Technology Video Series. I've been asked by a good friend to do a quick video on foreclosure. First, it is very important to understand that M2 Technology, we are not lawyers. You are watching the M2 Technology video series. This episode is Law 3, Foreclosure. First, and probably this is most important, let's think about your psychological disposition towards the foreclosure that you're facing. Foreclosure is serious business. Displacement is a horrible thing to have happen. And the first thing you must do is take care of yourself, mind and body. Here are some quick tips to avoid a panic attack. Splash your face with water. Try some deep breathing to relax. Try some meditation. Distract yourself. Put on some pleasant music and take a nap. And also, what I like to do is write down thoughts. Please consider the scenario. You have 5 seconds to make a decision. If the decision you must make in 5 seconds is critical, the vast majority of us would panic. Now take a moment of your time and contemplate. What makes you different than, let's say, a fighter pilot? You, who are prone to go into panic, and a fighter pilot who can stay cool under any condition. Well, one major difference we do know about is time management. They would immediately realize that 5 seconds is actually a very long time to be able to make a decision. For the vast majority of us, 5 seconds is a very short time, and if we had to make a critical decision in 5 seconds, most of us would most likely freak out and panic. We'll take just 5 seconds to consider this, and then we'll get back to our program on foreclosure. A fighter pilot realizes that 5 seconds is actually quite a long time to act on a critical decision. So a fighter pilot's going to take the first 4 seconds to formulate a plan, and then take the final second to act upon that plan. In a foreclosure, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, thank goodness, will most likely be weeks or days. You are going to want to formulate a plan. You are going to want to prepare to implement, and then you are going to want to act. These, I have found, are recommended steps. This is very valuable information if you are facing foreclosure. And once again, remember, at M2 Technology, we are not lawyers, nor do we play one on movies or television. My home state is Arizona. So this is going to be geared for foreclosures in the state of Arizona, although your state is probably very similar. First, remember, any objection or defense that you are going to show must be presented before the foreclosure date. If a foreclosure sale is scheduled, all your actions should be before that date. So don't ignore or blow off your foreclosure sale date. It is a critical date, and all your legal actions must be before that date. There are a few states that allow recourse after the sale. Most states do not. So again, play it safe. Make all your action before the sale date of your foreclosure. Again, in Arizona, claims against a foreclosure sale include failure to comply with notice requirements. So study up on what the notice requirements are for your notification of the foreclosure sale. And as in all civil law, breach of a contract. In this case, it would be a breach of contract based on the note itself or deed of trust, that you were not actually in default or you've had the loan modified. In Arizona and unfortunately most other states, the foreclosing party does not have to have possession of the note. That is very important because a lot of people use that argument because they read on the internet falsely that the loan company, if they don't have possession of the note, they cannot foreclose. In most states, they do not need possession of the note to foreclose. Let's talk briefly about the trustee. The trustee is the company, usually a law firm, that the note was given to proceed with a foreclosure and foreclosure sale. They are not the beneficiary of the note. They are acting for the beneficiary of the note and causing legal action. In Arizona, they do not have to go to court to do this. In most states, they do not. In some states, they must go through legal procedure to be able to foreclose and have a foreclosure sale. Again, in Arizona, they do not need to do that. They can do that outside of the court. A trustee may not be sued unless there was a breach of obligation under the DOT statutes, so read up on that. And trustee has the right to rely on beneficiary instructions. So, if the beneficiary has told the trustee to do something, they can do it. And you cannot intervene on those instructions with a lawsuit. That is very important to understand. You cannot sue the trustee if the beneficiary has told them to take action. You must sue the beneficiary in that case. You can sue a trustee if they're acting as a debt collector. They may be liable under FDCPA for making false or misleading statements. More times than not, the law firm or other trustee is not going to push to collect. They'll make it obvious that it is a collection, but they're not going to call you to collect on the debt. They're just going to serve you notices of a foreclosure. foreclosure sale. Now you've received the bad news, let's talk about some of the good news. Okay, the federal government has a program called HAMP, H-A-M-P, the Affordable Modification Program. The home cannot be sold from out from under you in a foreclosure sale while there is a HAMP application pending, or after 30 days of a denial of a HAMP modification. You can use this to your advantage. However, you have to start the action in court because the sale did not go through a court procedure. You must enact a lawsuit in court to get a judge's attention. Also, you are going to want to read up on HAMP guidelines, which you should be doing anyway as your first course of your plan. Get a HAMP application, fill it out, and get it ready for submittal. Then decide when the best time is to submit your HAMP application to delay properly the sale of your home. Again, in Arizona, and as previously mentioned, you need to start the action. You must file a lawsuit or application for a restraining order, which you may or may not wish to do. However, a number one claim for you to file in court would be that of misrepresentation. You would go after your lender under the Arizona Consumer Fraud Act. Please read up in Arizona or your own state for laws that protect the consumer. And if you feel your lender has broken any of those rules, then immediately put a lawsuit together against your lender for the act you feel they have caused in violation of the law. Now, this is very common and most likely would be your best course of action. It is called steering. When service steers a homeowner away from HAMP modification into a proprietary modification. In short, you called your lender and said, look, I want to make this right. They told you they have a program that they are going to put you in or see if you qualify for. If that program is not HAMP, they have basically steered you away from a HAMP modification and attempted to put you in a program that they have in-house. They can't do that. They must notify you that you can apply for a HAMP under federal guidelines. If they have not done that, then you have a cause of action. You cannot sue to enforce HAMP. However, you can sue because you were not offered HAMP and were steered away from HAMP and were put into a loan program or loan program application that is in-house to the lender. Again, two different programs. One, you cannot sue to enforce HAMP. Please understand that simple concept, because this is probably your best course of action if you have been steered away from HAMP. This is a very delicate subject that I'm going to touch on very lightly. It had been said that a person who represents themselves in court has a fool for an attorney. Most likely, as we all know, that was written by an attorney. If you are suffering financial problems, which most likely you are, because that's why you're in foreclosure in the first place, everything I'm telling you about can be done pro se or pro per, basically Latin for by yourself. It is a very simple procedure with a lot of legwork, meaning become familiar with where to park, where your county courthouse is, usually Superior Court, and make sure you follow all the rules and deadlines. Most likely the judge will understand that there is financial duress, and because of that, you need to represent yourself. Also, and equally as importantly, when you're online searching for information, you will find that you are thrown tidbits of information. Often, this information is there to lead you into hiring a lawyer. In other words, it's a law firm with deep pockets that are feeding you some information which all funnels down to you need to call the lawyer and have him work it out. Again, there are a lot of scams as well. A lot of companies that will promise to get you out of foreclosure where they really can't. There are not many remedies. You have to follow the rules. Look through the court library if you must. Take day 1, 2, and 3 and go to your court. Get comfortable there. Become familiar with it. Ask questions. Go to the court library and read up on legal procedures. You will find that they have blank forms for pro ses to file a lawsuit. Unfortunately, again, filing a lawsuit itself has become quite expensive. In Pima County, Arizona, I think they're up to $250. In Morris County, New Jersey, they are up to $200. So you are going to need to scrape up a few $100 to file your lawsuit. Please keep that in mind. We live in a wonderful country. And the big advantage of our wonderful country is that we're all guaranteed fair and equal justice under the law. Please remember that. People have given their lives for that. With that said, you have the right to fair and equal justice, whether or not you have a lawyer. Now, let's ponder this for a moment. Even if you are not going to get a completely fair shake in court, because your lender is going to have a high-priced legal firm up against you, the little guy, the system may not guarantee you justice. But in a very famous movie quote with the late actor Paul Newman, one of my favorites, we hear that the system is not guaranteeing you justice, but is at least giving you a shot at justice. Please remember that. This is your shot at justice. On the left, you will see a standard form to file a lawsuit. If you're in Arizona, this is actually a form that you could use. In your state, it will be available online. It is highly similar in all 50 states of the United States. This is actually a form you can print and hand write the basis of your complaint. As a non-lawyer, I am not going to tell you how to fill out this form or what to write. However, in this video, you will find very valuable information that has pointed you in the right direction if you are going to fight a foreclosure sale. Once again, and most importantly, remember, most of the time, the foreclosing party has not gone through a court procedure. So you are not replying or countering an argument that has been submitted to court in the first place. You must start the ball rolling in court. You must file paperwork to get your issue before a judge. This is critical. You must file a lawsuit or application for restraining order. If a restraining order seems extreme, it isn't, because the prerequisite to a restraining order is that you have been caused some type of a duress, that you are basically in between a rock and a hard place and placed there by the party you are getting the restraining order against. And a foreclosure sale of your home and being thrown out on the street, which you will be if your home is sold from out from under you and you are served with an eviction notice, that is enough duress recognized by most courts and most judges as grounds for you to file a restraining order. However, I think a restraining order is a little extreme, and that you would be best off reviewing the loan and submitting a lawsuit based on problems that you found with the loan. Basic breach of contract. Don't forget, plan, prepare, and act. You must act. Getting depressed, panicking, going on vacation, running around, not paying attention will not solve this problem. Plan, prepare, act. Once again, you've been watching M2 Technology video series. This has been Law 3, Foreclosure. And once again, for the third time, this is M2 Technology. At M2 Technology, we are not lawyers, nor do we play one on television or the movies. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to look out for many more great M2 Technology videos.